Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro. Today is January the 8th, 2017, and we are a week past the new year now. Today is an important day astrologically because the planet Mercury has turned from retrograde to direct, and here we can see that Mercury is at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. Most of the time while it's been moving backwards, it has been moving through the sign of Capricorn. I believe it turned retrograde at 14 or 15 degrees of Capricorn, right near Pluto. Pluto hasn't budged much, and it won't because it's very far away, very slow moving. So the intensity that may have been going on at the time that Mercury turned retrograde, we are not out of the woods yet. Even though Mercury has gone direct now, what will that mean? That means that right now, while it sits close to Saturn and Sagittarius, it's going to start moving forward, and as it moves forward, it will get back to where it was. I think it's going to be somewhere around January 23rd when it actually comes back to the place it was when it turned retrograde. When it does that, it's actually going to join Pluto and then activate this pattern of red lines, which is called a T-square, and it will be playing off the energy of Jupiter in Libra, Pluto in Capricorn, Jupiter in Libra, and Uranus in Aries. And while we have it right now in a very optimistic and future-oriented fire sign that's rather restless and keeps high hopes, go ahead and take chances, take some risks, ask for things that you want, hold the highest thought possible, and work at it, especially while we still have some influence here of Saturn, and we have a sextile going on to Jupiter and a trine to Uranus. This is where the energy is active right now with Mercury. And we have Mercury here in Sagittarius for just a few more days before it goes back into Capricorn. And Capricorn is a much slower, steadier, it's a cardinal sign, it's an earth sign, so it doesn't have as much enthusiasm, it doesn't feel as quick as it does when it's in Sagittarius. So let's see, Mercury went direct 12 hours ago. Mercury enters Capricorn again in 3.7 days. So go out right now and ask for big things or put big plans in motion, hold the highest ideals, be a little bit fearless, apply yourself with enthusiasm. And that might work towards some growth, and that might work towards some change that's in your favor or beneficial in some way, especially financially. This may also help relationships in terms of cooperation that honors individuality and freedom, while it also honors compromise between two people and makes the best happen for everybody involved. Now, Mercury, as I mentioned, will enter Capricorn in about 4 more days, and then I believe it is around, let's take a look at the 23rd of January. 23rd of January, we'll have Mercury at 10 degrees, 7 degrees away from Pluto. A couple more days, and it's a little bit tighter. Let's see. January 27th. Here we go. Right around January 27th is where we will really be feeling this, and we will be feeling the tension, especially with the planet Uranus. It will begin to fade. The square with Jupiter will begin to lessen up, but this square will definitely be felt. And Jupiter will actually, it looks as though it's in a quincunx here to Venus. Good things can still come into being at that time. But what I feel primarily will be happening for people as Mercury has been building up momentum and coming closer to Pluto is that whatever you might have been dealing with around December 19th, expect it to be revisited. Look back on your calendar, think back to what you were doing around December 19th, because that's when we had the planet Mercury right here with Pluto when it went backwards. So you may have a revisit around this time, or you may think to yourself, why does it feel like Mercury retrograde? Well, because Mercury will join Pluto and make a square to Uranus, and basically these two planets can bring upheaval, crisis, transformation, and this one brings change. So there may be some strong push for something to happen at this time. And sometimes there's a complete teardown and a restructure when Capricorn energy is involved with this type of configuration. Change will also be in the offing, because by then we will have the sun marching on through the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So change is coming up. Change is definitely in the future for us. We are going to be looking at a full moon on the 12th. And let's take a look at how January 12th will look with the full moon. We're going to have the full moon at 22 degrees of Cancer, posing the sun here at 22 degrees of Capricorn. And for many people, this can bring up issues that have to do with home and security, stability. These two signs rule the 4th house of home and family, psychological foundations, and the 10th house of career. Now, that doesn't mean you have these signs in those houses within your own natal chart. You can determine that by actually looking at your natal chart, taking a look to see where you have this symbol or that symbol sitting on your chart wheel, and then looking to the inside of your chart wheel to see which house that would be falling in. But for everyone, we still have some influence that may feel very parental. Maternal Cancer energy, patriarchal Capricorn energy may come to the fore, and there is a loose grand cross here, square, that we may be feeling all points coming in on the prominent angles of 1st house, 4th house, 7th house, 10th house. So for everyone, there may be some influence on looking at our need for individuality, taking care of ourselves, what's going on at home, our role perhaps as parent or with parents, things that we believe or where we have to be true to ourselves might come up, and our dynamics in relationships one-on-one with other people. And then we've got the house of career, or the line here on the midheaven, where we would be looking at where we stand out there in the world as a powerful individual or an authority figure. So this Cardinal Grand Cross will be felt by everybody. Lots of Pisces energy also around the full moon that can carry us through in terms of keeping faith, being kind, being forgiving, loving others, believing in what we cannot see, but trusting that it will be there. So there's a lot of idealism, there's a lot of kindness, there's a lot of longing for finding something of meaning in our lives, and this does make a nice flow of energy over to Jupiter. So be kind to others, be nice to others, and it is through cooperation with other people and our relationships that really everything else hinges upon in our lives. So this would be the strongest release or outlet for the tensions that are caused at the full moon on the 12th by this cardinal cross. And also keeping your eye on the prize, and keeping your morals, the things that you feel are most important or that you would not compromise on, holding on to that. At the same time, though, be open to changing things that maybe you've always thought were true or correct, and looking for the truth in something. I would say seeking truth would be an important factor with this trine going on here between Mercury, Saturn, and Uranus in Aries. What's true, not just what's true for everybody, but what's true for you, and how do you use it to guide yourself in life. So that's how our full moon coming up on the 12th looks. And Mercury retrograde now direct. Go out and have some fun while it's in Sag. Use some of that positivity while it's in Sagittarius. It's going to become a little more serious once we get past 4 days from now and it slips back into Cap. And then as we get toward the end of the month and a new moon coming up on the 29th, we're definitely going to be dealing with the transformations and the rebuilding or revisiting things that maybe were not finished up in December. So it will be, in a way, kind of like a revisit of Mercury. May feel a little bit like a retrograde coming back again upon us if we didn't finish up whatever we were doing around December 19th. I'd also like to just say happy birthday here to, let me pull it up. For some reason, it seems as though people celebrate Elvis Presley's birthday in his death as much as they might have done in his lifetime. And I find that to be a little bit interesting, even the thought that maybe Elvis is still alive. And I can see some of those patterns here in his chart. Pluto in the 8th house, which does rule death, and it makes an interesting aspect pattern here with his Venus, Mercury, Sun, and they're all in his 2nd house. He probably continues to make a great deal of money beyond his death simply because of this aspect pattern involving Uranus in the 5th house. And I'm sure his family, because of the Taurus energy, his children, because of the 5th house, continue to receive an income residually or long-term beyond his death. He was definitely here to accumulate some money and to enjoy the spending of it he's had a mansion. His Mars in the 10th house of career in Libra, I would think that this would push his music forward and continue to do so throughout the generations, that there would be an interest in his music that would continue. Neptune also up here in the 9th house, making an aspect to his personal planets, including Sun and Mercury. The message, or whatever his songs, the lyrics, there would still be an appeal cross-culturally and forward into time, that this would continue to be something that the audience or the group, the 11th house here, Jupiter and Scorpio in the 11th house, that he would still have a very powerful and magnetic appeal. His music, his words, even maybe his movies, his image, long after his death. And of course, we have many Elvis impersonators who make a living off of being Elvis. So happy birthday to Elvis Presley, a good example of how our chart continues to live on. And in fact, even once we pass, as planets continue to transit through our chart, we still continue to have the opportunity to be seen or heard or have our work put forward into the world. The other day I looked at Louis Braille's birth chart, and it was very interesting to see that he had his North Node and Uranus in the 12th house, and he too was meant to do something significant that lived on, that he would change the world, and he did, even though Braille was not really famous or used until after his death. So we continue to live on, And our charts are just as valid for us during our lifetime as they are afterwards. And you can continue to watch transits to a chart, and you can continue to progress a chart and still see what's going on. So astrology has its uses through all phases of life. And happy birthday, Elvis Presley. I am available if you don't have your chart and you would like to have me look at your chart. I'm at alohaastro.com, and it is very easy to book a reading. Just click on that or click on here. Also, I'd like to recommend with the New Year PSTEC. If you have any type of block, if you have anything you're dealing with emotionally, anything that you would like to eliminate or let go of as you're going into your New Year resolutions, click on this to download the free PSTEC package and then listen to it. It will change your life. It is very effective and it is free. Also, some others here are free, especially Wealth of Abundance may put you on the right track toward thinking positively about money and income and simply increasing your awareness of the abundance in the world and in your life and being open to receive. This is also free, Wealth of Abundance. So these two are powerful tools. You can get them through my site at alohaastro.com and clicking on PSTEC. And Happy New Year, everybody. Hit the reset button now that Mercury is direct.